समझ नहीं आ रहा अपने सैलरी इंक्रीमेंट का क्या करूं।
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है, अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स के एसआईपी का टॉप अप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
क्या समझ में नहीं आया?
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है? अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स का एसआईपी टॉप अप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
अब समझा।
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Ahead of the Bihar elections, Prime Minister Modi's Diwali message stresses Lord Ram, Operation Sindoor, and the success in eradicating Naxal violence. Modi spent Diwali on INS Vikrant and then released a letter to all citizens. But in the midst of geopolitical churn, it is domestic politics that is slowly returning to the headlines. In Bihar, the big question is whether the NDA alliance, if it wins, will continue to back Nitish Kumar as chief minister. Or is the NDA getting ready to possibly abandon Nitish Kumar, who earned the sobriquet of being a Paltu Chacha for his frequent changes in political loyalties? In a moment from now, veteran journalist and columnist Neerja Chowdhury will be joining us with her take on the Bihar elections. I'm Barkha, Dutt, you're with the Mojo Story. These are the images that went out to the nation from INS Vikrant, the iconic aircraft carrier. Prime Minister Modi spent Diwali with the naval troops, sending a big message in his address to Pakistan. But even as Operation Sindoor continues to dominate the headlines, domestic politics returns to the headlines slowly but surely. The Bihar elections are almost around the corner, and as campaigning gets underway, the big speculation is whether the NDA alliance is getting ready to dump Nitish Kumar possibly as chief minister. Amit Shah's comments to Aaj Tak have sparked speculation. Amit Shah made it clear that Nitish Kumar remained the leader under whom these elections would be fought, but when asked who would be the chief minister if NDA wins, said that that process was a well-established process that would be followed. Prashant Kishore, who's being described as the X factor of Bihar elections, has already waged a bet on this. In an interview to us, among others, he made the point that if Nitish Kumar got more than 25 seats, Prashant Kishore would quit politics. He also called Nitish Kumar mentally unfit to be in public life. To talk about what might happen in Bihar, what might the permutations and the combinations look like, and also to play out snippets of that Prashant Kishore interview to us, I want to welcome to the program Neerja Chowdhury, who has, as her bio tells us below her column, covered the last 11 Lok Sabha elections, and that's a huge number if there was one. Neerja, your last, most recent column on Bihar zooms in on the Amit Shah comments to Aaj Tak when he was asked who would be chief minister if the NDA won. And before I play out what Prashant Kishore said to us on this in Bihar, you have speculated whether there could be a return of the Maharashtra model. And just to remind people what you meant, Eknath Shinde was the leader of the alliance in the campaign. And once the campaign was over, it was Devendra Fadnavis who was chief minister. Now, of course, there are many ifs here. We don't know who's going to win. This is if the NDA wins. What are you picking up, Neerja?
Look, for the Home Minister Amit Shah to make that comment, and he is very measured with his words, as we know. He doesn't make off-the-cuff remarks. For him to say yes and say it categorically, we are going into elections under the leadership of Nitish Kumar. There's no ambivalence, no ambiguity about that. But he also said, laid down the process that if the CM or the leader of the legislature party will be elected by the newly elected MLAs. In other words, the question of who will be the chief minister if the NDA emerges victorious is an open question. So, coming from the Home Minister, those are not casual words. In other words, and we've known this, that the BJP's dream project has been to lead a government in Bihar. That's the one state in the Hindi heartland where it has not had a chief minister. And therefore, it would do its utmost to make that happen. And remember, the BJP has more numbers even in the present assembly than does the JDU. It had 74, JDU had 143. So it's a vast, large gap. And the Home Minister Amit Shah also said this, that of course, even if we have more numbers, we can continue him, but there is that question mark hanging out there, but. And remember, the sharing of seats, Barkha, this time has equal numbers given to the JDU and the BJP, 101, which gives the impression that the JDU, as in the past, is not a senior partner. Last time, if you remember, they were given 115, where the BJP had 110. This time also, Chirag Paswan's 29 seats that he's been giving, which is a whopping number compared to the other two allies, Jitin Mansi and Upendra Kushwaha's parties, will also stand with the BJP if push came to shove. Therefore, I think the BJP is getting its act together. Much will depend on the arithmetic of the new assembly. If denied chief ministership, can Nitish Kumar, if the numbers so warrant, join hands with the Mahagathbandhan of Lalu Yadav and Tejasvi Yadav and the Congress party in order to form the government, if that can be done? So there are many imponderables here, very interesting. And if that happens, were that to happen, could it lead to a realignment of forces in other states of India, nationally, in other parts of the Hindi heartland? So Bihar is not just, one more election. Bihar will have consequences for it, for the politics beyond the state.
And you actually believe that if, and we are of course scenario building here, you actually believe that if the NDA wins but does not back Nitish Kumar is capable, given his long track record of changing sides, he is capable of possibly joining hands with his opposition, with his opponents, which is RJD and Congress. You believe that that is a possibility that cannot be ruled out?
Yes, it's a possibility that cannot be ruled out. His flip-flops, he's done it twice earlier. And actually his politics, your Paltu Chacha politics that you talked about, has not really hurt him politically. The flip-flop politics normally goes against the person. But in his case, it has actually helped him. It's been an asset which has helped him remain in power for 20 long years. And it is said in Bihar, whichever side Nitish joins is the side that's going to make government. Now, whatever be the morality of all that.
Yeah, but you are still talking of him as therefore a relevant political asset. I want to play out for you an excerpt from a Prashant Kishore podcast. I was in Bihar. I interviewed him. He drew an analogy between Nitish Kumar and Manmohan Singh to make the point that while Nitish Kumar, according to him, remained personally honest, that he was not taking action against corruption in the people around him. And Prashant Kishore alleged that this was because he was not fully present anymore mentally. And this is a big statement to make, so I want to play this out and then get your response. Take a look.
मुझे ये बताइए, आपने बीच में कहा कि एक तरह से नीतीश कुमार की स्थिति आज देख के आपको मनमोहन सिंह की यूपीए 2 की याद आती है? आपको पर्सनली नहीं लगता है? आई सी द मेटाफर कि नहीं, जैसे पर्सनली डिसेंट, देखिए मैं नीतीश, आप 15 में नीतीश जी का इंटरव्यू लेने आए थे जी, मैं नीतीश जी की मदद कर रहा था उस समय 15 में। मैंने नीतीश कुमार का वो आंच देखा है, वो रुतबा देखा है कि किसी की हिम्मत नहीं है कि कोई आकर ये कह दे कि भैया ये फेवर हो जाए। आज उनकी स्थिति यह है कि नीतीश कुमार को पता भी नहीं चलता है कि हो क्या रहा है। फेसबुक से ही 10-10 हजार करोड़ रुपए की स्कीम घोषित हो रही है। नीतीश कुमार बिल्कुल व्यक्तिगत तौर पर ईमानदार है, आज भी ईमानदार है, लेकिन जैसे मनमोहन सिंह जी बहुत ईमानदार थे, लेकिन यूपीए 2 को करप्शन और भ्रष्टाचार के नाम पर देश से हटाया गया। कमोवेश वही स्थिति आज एनडीए की बिहार में है। नीतीश कुमार ईमानदार हैं व्यक्तिगत तौर पर, लेकिन शारीरिक मानसिक तौर पर ही इज नो मोर इन कंट्रोल। और पूरे बिहार में जिस तरह की लूट मची हुई है, ऐसा कभी हुआ नहीं। आपने 2 और चैलेंजेस रखे हैं, एक की जेडीयू के 25 से ज्यादा सीट्स आ ही नहीं, कहां आएंगे, और आप राजनीति छोड़ देंगे? बिल्कुल छोड़। क्या हम लोग कौन राजनीति कर रहे हैं? तो एक आपका दावा है कि 25 से ज्यादा नहीं आएंगी तो आप, यू विल नॉट कंसिडर योरसेल्फ पॉलिटिकली स्मार्ट, तो आप राजनीति छोड़ देंगे?
बिल्कुल छोड़ देंगे। 25 सीट तो जदयू को आ ही नहीं सकता।
दूसरा आपने कहा है कि वो मुख्यमंत्री, नीतीश जी मुख्यमंत्री नहीं
बनेंगे। कैसे बनेंगे? पहली बात कि 25 सीट आएगी नहीं, तो जब 42 पर रो रो के भाजपा ने बनाया था, तो 25 पे तो निश्चित नहीं बनाएंगे।
So Prashant Kishore there is making 2 points, Neerja. One is about corruption. So he is a critic of the Bihar government. He has made corruption allegations. The BJP has made allegations back at him. And he likens him to Manmohan Singh in the corruption in the UPA years, where Manmohan Singh personally was considered clean, but was not able to intervene effectively. He then goes on to say that Nitish Kumar is no longer an effective leader because he's not fully mentally present. There has been a decline in his mental health. And third point he makes is, if Nitish Kumar gets more than 25 seats, Prashant Kishore will quit politics. Now, while the last point may be rhetoric, it is a very different argument from the one made by you, who actually continues to feel that Nitish Kumar, no matter what, continues to have a certain guaranteed vote base. Whether he chooses sides or he changes sides, he's not ideologically punished for it. His dedicated, committed voter doesn't seem to care. How do you see Prashant Kishore's comments on Nitish Kumar?
Look, what he's saying about corruption charges, yes, there are many more corruption charges against his MLAs, huge anti-incumbency against his MLAs this time. And of course, being in power for 20 years, that does take its toll, number one. Number two, and though he's personally clean, absolutely so. I agree with Prashant Kishore there. Number two, his mental and physical health. Yes, there has been information, news, call it what, without any confirmation, Barkha. And we in Indian politics fight shy of calling a spade a spade.
I know, which is why it was so unusual to actually hear a political opponent say this in so many words. And that is why I'm asking you about it.
And if it is true, the stories that one hears, then it would be very unfair to subject Nitish Kumar to rule a state, if that is true. But we don't know. There's no confirmation about it. And sometimes he seems to be, he's seen to have done, odd things, even in public. On the other hand, he seems to be all there at other times. So we need confirmation on this. There are lots of stories, and all of Bihar knows his health is not good. Ordinary people also discuss this. But what I'm coming to is the Nitish factor. It may well be that Nitish Kumar gets 25 seats. But could this 25, if 25, number one, stay with him? That's another big if. Could the BJP break that party? BJP is already in touch with leaders who've been very close to Nitish Kumar and got them on its side, and they may back for the BJP in the future, BJP-led government. So we don't know how that is going to pan out. But suppose, hypothetically speaking, the 25 of Nitish Kumar can make a difference between government and no government as far as the Mahagathbandhan is concerned. Could those 25 added to the Mahagathbandhan lead to government formation? If the assembly throws up arithmetic like that and Nitish is denied CM-ship, what will he do? I don't put it past him to say, yes, you're denying me something, that should have been my due, and I go to the other side. Or he may, as I said, just walk into the sunset. Will he do that? Or will he fight the final battle of his life?
So, in other words, all of this is assuming that there is going to be no clear victor in Bihar. You see, that's what your argument is assuming at this point.
Yes, this is a scenario where, yes, it's a hung assembly. It's not a clear verdict for one side. Clear verdict would have to be BJP plus its allies forming the government, being able to form the government, or the RJD plus Congress plus its allies being able to form the government. And remember, Barkha, even in 2020, it was a very close fight. And this time also, it is expected to be a very close fight. Nitish Kumar has tried to retain his relevance by playing what I call the M card, the Mahila card, by giving 10,000 rupees to a woman in a household, eligible household, and over 1 crore women have been given this amount in their hands. And remember the effect of Ladli Bahan Yojana in Madhya Pradesh and Ladki Bahan Yojana in Maharashtra. They were game changers. They enabled the NDA to come back to power. Would the same thing happen? Will the M factor counter the Nitish fatigue in Bihar? That's a question mark. And remember, Nitish has had credibility amongst women voters in the last 20 years, having rolled out so many schemes for them, whether it's the cycle, the uniform, the reservation for women in government, 35%, 35% in police force. They had a policy of prohibition to check domestic drunkenness and abuse. And now this 10,000 rupees Mukhyamantri Mahila Rozgar Yojana, M3RY. Will that make a difference? Now, as far as the other side is concerned, I think the voter Adhikar Yatra of Rahul Gandhi and Tejasvi Yadav had created a lot of enthusiasm. A lot of people had turned out. But the momentum has petered out somewhat because they took a long time to come to a seat sharing formula. That reinforced the impression that, the Mahagathbandhan was at war with itself, within itself, and there were differences between Rahul Gandhi and Tejasvi Yadav. Why couldn't the two leaders pick up the phone and sort out the differences that if they existed between their lieutenants and they couldn't finalize the seat? Why did they allow this to happen? This is very inexplicable. And for the Congress also to bargain hard. Now, Congress has to decide what is its priority. Is its priority to defeat the BJP and NDA in Bihar? Or is its priority to revive the Congress party? The strategy will be very different depending on what your priority is. And there has been confusion in the Congress's ranks, not declaring Tejasvi Yadav an obvious choice for chief ministership. As the chief ministerial candidate of the Mahagathbandhan, again it's been a setback, as I say, to the momentum that the MGB was picking up.
And I was just going to ask you that if this side, they're not declaring a chief ministerial candidate, that side too, Tejasvi made a very categorical statement. He said Rahul Gandhi is the obvious prime ministerial contender, and he referenced himself as the obvious chief ministerial candidate or contender. Even after that, this did not happen. What do you think is actually going on there?
I think they wanted to use this issue of declaring him as this CM candidate as a bargaining chip to bargain hard for a greater number of seats. Now, you can do that up to a point, but you must know if you cross the brink, go over the brink, then there's going to be a cost to that. And I think that is what has happened. And I don't think the Congress has displayed a wise leadership and experienced hand that it could have in Bihar in the way it has handled things after the voter Adhikar Yatra. It built
how do you explain that? I mean, Rahul Gandhi's rhetoric on the SIR exercise, the vote Adhikar Yatra, as you said, the motorcycle rallies that he and Tejasvi took out jointly. What happened to all that?
I think, the Congress party is interested in building up Rahul Gandhi's image, and it should, as the leader that they are projecting nationally. But it is not so interested, it is not given time, effort to building up the organization. And unless it builds up its organization, does that hard work, groundwork, it will not be able to convert goodwill into votes. And that is the plus point on the other side. The BJP has a huge electoral machinery today, booth level.
So according to you, at this point, would it be advantage NDA?
I wouldn't, it could go either way, Barkha. Some time ago, I would have said, no, after 20 years of anti-incumbency, after Nitish Kumar's failing health, after, and Prashant Kishore being a wild card, him not standing from Raghopur.
Yeah.
That decision, which he said he was considering, and had he stood from there, it would have electrified the election. But it might have made it Mahagathbandhan versus Prashant Kishore's Jan Suraj. It might have squeezed out the NDA that bit. It would have made it a triangle contest in the real sense of the term. But him not doing, I think, will go to benefit the NDA somewhat. He will cut into Tejasvi's votes also. Of course, he will also cut into the upper caste, middle class votes of the BJP. No doubt about that also. I think, given that, I really don't know which way it will go, Bihar.
Yeah. So let me play out another excerpt from Prashant Kishore, since you said that he's a wild card, but his decision not to contest, which he'd said he was going to, and then he decided not to, could possibly, help the NDA. That said, he could be cutting both sides' votes, right? What I asked him was, if you don't get enough seats yourself, which side will you support? And he's very clear that he's in this for his own party's success. In fact, the phrase he used was ya andhi ya farsh, ya Prashant Kishore farsh pe hoga, he'll be a nothing, or there will be a kind of sweep that no poll can capture. So I'm just going to play out that clip and then come back to you.
लोगों ने कहा कि ऐसी चर्चा है कि आपको बेस्ट के सिनेरियो में 130-35 सीट आ सकता है, सरकार आपकी बन सकती है।
जी,
मैंने ऑन रिकॉर्ड कहा है, फिर रिपीट कर देता हूं, अगर जनसुराज को 125-30 सीट आया तो मैं उसको अपनी बहुत बड़ी हार मानूंगा, जनसुराज की हार मानूंगा, अपने प्रयासों की विफलता मानूंगा कि 3 बरस मैंने अपने जीवन का सब कुछ दांव पर लगाया है, सब कुछ झोंका है, जो भी बुद्धि, समझ, संसाधन भगवान ने मुझे दिया है, सब कुछ लगाने के बाद अगर मैं सिंपल मेजॉरिटी लेकर आऊं, जनसुराज को 125-30 सीट आएगा तो उसको मैं हार मानूंगा, तो उसके नीचे तो सब हार ही है।
That's very ambitious.
इट्स नॉट एम्बिशियस। जनसुराज की पूरी स्ट्रेटेजी है जो हम लोगों ने प्रयास किया है, और मैं बिल्कुल कैमरे पे कहता हूं, मेरे साथी कई बार उसका विरोध भी करते हैं कि भैया ऐसा क्यों कहते हैं, कहिए कि हम जीतेंगे। मैं वो नहीं कहता, मैं कहता हूं जनसुराज या तो अर्श पे या फर्श पे।
जनसुराज या तो अर्श पे या फर्श पे। Now, of course, all leaders have to keep the morale of their base, and he's a new party. For him, it's especially a very critical election. But what is your own sense? I mean, if there is a hung assembly and he has seats to play with, do you have any sense, or would you make any guesses as to which way he would go?
I don't think he'll go with Tejasvi Yadav. Will he go with the other side? I don't know. They haven't said anything so far, but let's see. I don't know. But Prashant Kishore is a very interesting phenomenon. He talks about getting more than a simple majority. First time that he contests elections.
Yes.
He's setting his goals very high, and why not? The Arvind Kejriwal phenomenon, the AAP party came out of the movement for Lokpal, Anna Hazare movement. Earlier, if you remember, Barkha, in the 80s, the AGP came out of the ASU movement against illegal Bangladeshi immigrants, and then again, had such an impact on Assam society, and it's still a factor up to a point.
Yeah.
Prashant Kishore is a phenomenon not coming, as he himself has said, out of a movement, but he's come out of a social media movement. And social media is now affecting the future and fate of governments. It's happened in Bangladesh, it's happened in Nepal, there was a Egypt Spring, it is, in Ladakh we saw recently, movement, and social media is playing a very vital role, communication revolution and so on. Prashant Kishore is a byproduct of that. In our country, the first experiment, how he has used data, digital, and ground level. Now, more than the bigger picture and the digital, he's going house to house doing the Padyatra. So he's combining several things. But without, as far as ideology, its development, he's made different party leaders win elections irrespective of their ideology in order to get to power. So winning elections is a very important aspect of what he's about. And also as part of our politics. That's what BJP is about. That's what now other parties are all about. That's what politics has come to. So he reflects the changing nature of our politics at the ground level. And again, it's a phenomenon we need to understand more. And I think Bihar results will help us understand that.
Let me in the end talk about Chirag Paswan. When we talk about the seat sharing tussle, perceived seat sharing tussle between the Congress and the RJD, it's not as if the NDA alliance has been without its own share of anxieties, its own share of tensions. How do you look at, Chirag Paswan last time, the theory was that he'd almost been propped up to perform a certain task to weaken, Nitish, as it were. How do you see his role this time?
I think last time it is true in 2020, he did hurt Nitish Janata Dal's seats in 28 constituencies. And it was felt that, he fought independently, he was not part of NDA. And when he joined the NDA in the 2024 elections, he did very well and won 5 out of 5 Lok Sabha seats. And while he may have played the role of doing down Nitish Kumar in 2020, he will play the role of doing up BJP this time. And I would say, apart from the M Mahila factor and the PK factor, the other factor that's going to have a very important part in this election is going to be the D factor, the Dalit factor. And today, really, D factor is equal to, I won't say equal to alone, but certainly is led by Chirag Paswan. Again, as I say, a rising star to watch out for.
So finally, the Maharashtra example or the analogy you draw, let's talk a little bit about that possibility or that scenario. You see the NDA maybe leading ahead as of now, a week is a long time in politics, maybe with the advantage right now ahead of the Mahagathbandhan. And then the scenarios play out. Do they back Nitish? Do they not back Nitish? If they don't back Nitish, what does Nitish do? Does he walk into the sunset? Does he switch sides again? In that scenario, you have compared this to Eknath Shinde and Devendra Fadnavis. So talk about that analogy.
I think if they can get away with it and NDA is victorious, they would like to have somebody from the BJP lead the government. If they feel no, Nitish can go to the other side, they will continue with Nitish for a while and maybe going for a gradual transition as and when they can make it. I don't think if given half a chance, the BJP is going to allow the NGB to form the government, the other side to form the government.
Well, very interesting, all kinds of possibilities, which is what makes elections so interesting. Neerja, we'll continue following your very incisive columns. Thank you so much for talking to us. Take care and happy Diwali.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.